Welcome once again to the Bear Network with Coach Jason Reuter here today. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. This is our first of many interviews coming up for you during the basketball season. Coach would like to welcome you. We'll be on the Bear Network on YouTube. You can watch all of our shows. Just simply go to YouTube and look for the Bear Network or BCHS.tv to enjoy all of our shows free of charge. There's actually a subscribe button on there that you can hit on that screen when you call it up, and if you hit subscribe, it'll notify you anytime a program on the BCHS Bear Network comes available there. So I'd like to thank Mr. Reuter and also the students here in the audiovisual class that make all our productions possible here on the Bear Network. Well, Coach, first thing, let's get this out of the way. Last year didn't end on the way we wanted to. We had a tough sub-state loss, 43-41 here to Oakland, ended our season. Didn't make the state, but we're 3 points away from getting there, and I know that's your goal every year.
Gary, I just now gotten over that loss, and you had to remind me of it.
Sorry about that.
You know, anytime you're playing high-stakes basketball, when you get deep into the tournament, you know, it doesn't hurt any less. Like I've lost in state finals as a boys' assistant. I haven't lost in state finals as a girls' head coach. We've won a state championship. The only time you're happy is when you win the state championship. And
right.
And matter of fact, it may hurt a little more the deeper you go. Now, you know, we had a bad break in that game. No pun intended. We had our senior captain, who's our best defender, Ashlyn Cretton, broke her foot in the first 30 seconds of the game.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And we lose in overtime by 2. And you know, I've sat and wondered more times than I can remember if Ashlyn hadn't got hurt. I think we'd won that game? Of course I do. But Oakland may have other thoughts. But nevertheless, we had a great year. We were 29-4, district champs, region champs. A lot to be proud of. It's just our goal is to get to the Murfreesboro, to the state tournament, which is the final 8, and not just get there. Our goal is to win it. So, with that said, our girls, the standards have not changed, and the standards of the Bearettes program is to play for a gold ball, and we're going to give everything we got. We know that, you know, if you could pick any one team, Gary, in the state and say, I'll bet my money on them, then it'd be foolish, because there's no less than 7 or 8 teams that could win it.
Yeah.
I think we're in that mix.
Well, I think you are too, and always it'll work itself out there. Your goal, I know, is always to win the district regular season, win the district championship, win a region championship, win that sub-state game, get that gold ball there, and you've had a lot of success doing that. At Media Day, the Bearettes were picked to win the district again by the coaches and by the media. It wasn't unanimous exactly in all cases, but do you like the notoriety that comes with that, with a target on your back, so to speak, which everybody always calls that? Or you're not going to go under the radar. You know, the Bearettes are going to be up here, and that's where they should be. Rightfully, they've earned it to be there. But any thoughts about being picked there again? Or
yeah, I certainly. You know,
shows a lot of respect.
It shows a lot of respect, and it shows about your tradition. Long before I took over the Bearettes, I mean, we've got the most wins of any program in state Tennessee, and if I'm not mistaken, we're still leading. Maybe about 1 state tournament appearance.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Either leading by 1 or tied, you know. So
yeah.
Right there.
So there's different classes, so it gets into different, you know, single A, double A, triple A. Now we have 4A. We have 4 classes, which we started last year, which we could talk about that later on, but this is not time for that. But I think I have no control over that, so I don't have an opinion like, do I want to be number 1?
At the end of the year is where it counts.
Yeah, at the end, and of course, a lot of people pick number 1 who don't finish 1, but a lot of people do. So, yes, I guess I'm glad to have the team that the other coaches think is number 1, and I don't even know if they know we are number 1. We've won it for 12 years straight. So
till somebody beats you.
Yeah, I guess they're going to vote us number 1 until someone beats us. So,
yeah.
So I don't have no control over that. It shows the respect for our program as far as what people expectations are, even outside of ours, because we only get 1 vote. And you got 7 teams in the district, so bring it on. You know, that's our goal, to be number 1. So I'm glad I guess deep down, I'm glad we're picking number 1.
Well, your assistant coach is going to return. Amy Tinsley's been with you several years. Keith Freeman's been with you several years. And probably the best statistician guy in the whole state of Tennessee, in the whole area, is Adam Belford to be back again. And, man, he knows how to do any sport. I think he can do 10 or 12 sports, actually. And he's called on a lot to do college scoring, and it's a TSSAA state tournament, and you couldn't ask for a better guy than him. But those two coaches, got Amy with the JV program, and she's already matched you because you robbed some of those good freshmen and brought them up there, but that's okay. And that's a good kind of problem to have, And Keith, like you said about Keith, he's been around a while, but those guys have been really solid in your program, and I think the continuity there helps. It's like any program. You just can't have a revolving door and turnover all the time, even in the assistant coaches.
It helps to have familiar people around you. I learned a long time ago to get people around you that are smarter than you, and what I've done is been blessed. What I've had is an opportunity to only make a couple changes in my 13 years. We've only made 2 coaches changes in 13 years at any position.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That doesn't happen in high school very often. That tells you one thing: this is a good place to be, and that tells you this is a good place to teach. It's a good place to work, and we got good kids to work with. And Amy Tinsley is a great assistant. Keith Freeman is a great assistant, and Adam Belford is also technically assistant, and he does most of our stats. He's also being employed by Lee University this year, so you may not see him at every game, but I think we've got it worked out. He's going to be at probably 85% of the games. But
we need to
have those people. Everybody thinks this is one. They see me on the sideline, and it's just like a basketball team. Like it takes. I know this is just high school basketball, but all the moving parts and all the, somebody had to print this schedule out. Somebody had to make this roster out. I'm getting emails, text messages every day. TSSAA, fill out your roster, fill out your schedule, fill out your eligibility. Thanksgiving Classic we're trying to have here. So there's not a day goes by that there's not 3 or 4 things that has to be done off the court. Mm-hmm. We're still waiting on uniforms that we ordered in April. Imagine that. Man. We got the white ones, but not the black ones. So now we're going to have 2 sets of numbers. Because the uniforms that we ordered to fit this team and not last year's team, and we ordered them in April. So there's just a lot of variables that go on. But anyhow, if you can't handle it, then what's those saying? Can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Get out of the kitchen, yeah.
You got to roll with it, and I'm looking forward to tonight.
Well, we lost 2 seniors last year. Carson Weber, one of the best outside shooters we've had, and 3. I'm sorry.
Lost Caitlin Lefford and Ashlyn Cretton.
Yeah, and Ashlyn, of course, is at Carson Newman, and Caitlin, of course, cannot leave Caitlin out. Another good outside shooter there. Looking at this year's roster, I see 4 seniors. That's Shemai Francis, Sloan Carpenter, Erica Swick, and Hannah Jones. Erica was in the boot last time I saw her. Is she okay now, or is she?
Still in the boot. So she has what looks to be a hairline fracture right around the pinky toe of her right foot. Actually came back from fall break. She'd been to Disney World, said it started hurting her when she was at Disney World. Erica's the type of kid that you got to keep off the floor like she wants to be. She tried to wear a boot for 10 or 12 days, went back to the doctor. He said, go out there and use your own judgment. She tried. Within 30 minutes, we had to pull her back out, and that was on November 1st. So today's the 15th. So yeah. I don't know. Gary, I'm hoping maybe another week. We talk daily. Mm-hmm. It's just 2 or 3 minutes. She's on the sideline. She's lifting. She's riding a stationary bike. But, you don't have to be a basketball coach to know that you got to play basketball be able to play basketball shape. So I think that if we get out of her boot in a week and then let her have 3 or 4 practices, I would take that right now.
Okay.
But, time to a young teenager, a few weeks is an eternity. Uh-huh. When you get older, that's not that big a deal.
Right.
But I just want her healthy. I'd rather not rush this thing. She wants to play immediately, but my years of coaching tells me let's put the brakes on.
Well, I think that's a wise decision because we're starting the season. We'll start tonight. We'll talk about that in a moment. But outside those 4 seniors, you have only 1 junior, which is sort of crazy to me. I count 7 sophomores and 2 freshmen on your roster there, and this is one of the youngest teams that you've had. Now, I know you've started some freshmen in the past. I don't know if you're going to start any freshmen tonight or this game or whatever, but who are you counting on outside of those seniors? Who's going to be your floor leader out there? The 4 girls I mentioned, Shemai, Sloan, Erica, and Hannah, I know all 4 very well personally. They're very quiet girls, really, just one-on-one. They're quiet. Are they different on the floor, or you got somebody who's just that voice leader out there?
I don't know that we really have one girl that resonates over the rest of them as far as a vocal leader. We try to make everyone be vocal on the floor. And it's nice when you have a senior. You know, Hannah Jones is a returning captain. So this is her second year. I say Hannah would be our most vocal girl. And then Sloan, I chose her as our second captain. We always have two captains every year, and you know, coaches do it a different way. I've heard coaches doing team votes. Let the team vote. I've never done that. There's no right or wrong. I chose the captain, and I chose this weekend. I chose Sloan Carpenter. So Sloan's our point guard. She started the last 3 games of her freshman year, and she's never had a game that she didn't start. I think she was out with COVID. So other than that, then Hannah is a 3-year starter. She's returning All-State player. You know, both those girls have committed to Johnson University in Knoxville, which is, you know, some people are a little surprised about Hannah doing that, and 'cause she had other opportunities. But you know, we can talk about that later. But she just, I think the fit was right. It's at the right distance from home. She liked the coach. She liked the school, and you know, so be it. So we're going to move on and not to worry about that. And but you asked me about the rest of the team. We're going to start 2 familiar faces. Sloan is a point guard, is senior, and then Hannah's playing at the wing, post wing spot as a senior. Then you're going to start Harmony Ware in the 3 position, 5'10" sophomore who got a lot of minutes as a freshman.
Sure did.
Some really great potential last year as a freshman. Then we're going to, in place of Erica Swick would have started tonight, but Avery Brewer's going to start in her spot. Avery's the best shooter on our team, best 3-point shooter, and she's matured a lot. She's going to do great things. Her and Harmony both are getting looks from colleges. And then you got you said I've started freshmen in the past. I have, but I've only started 2. This is going to be my 3rd one that started from the first game of their freshman year. I've started Brooke Copeland her freshman year. I started Ryan Howard. And now we're going to start the 3rd freshman I've ever started on the first opening night, and that's Kamora Fields. And she's a 6-foot freshman. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but you know, she's as good as a post freshman that we've had come through here, and she's going to have to carry a lot of weight for a freshman. Now, there's a difference when you play for Coach Reuter. There's a difference between a sophomore and a freshman. And when you get to your sophomore year, the demands and expectations are a lot higher. By the end of this year, Kamora will not be a freshman.
Right.
But she's still a freshman. And you're going to see some mistakes, and you're going to see some basketball intangibles that you learn as you play. But I will tell you this, she's way ahead of a typical freshman. If she wasn't, she wouldn't be starting.
Yeah.
She's way ahead.
I saw her several times.
Basketball IQ is already advanced for a freshman. And best thing about Kamora, she's a pleasure to coach. She comes in and does her work. She's not a complainer. She packs her lunchbox and she comes to work every day. Now, she may be too young. She's 14 years old, so right now she's still learning the ropes, what it's like to be a Bearette, but the team has taken her in, and she's a great addition to this team. And I just pray for one thing, Gary, we stay healthy. You know, I don't pray for anything else. And so, you know, losing Erica, this team is pretty talented, but we're not extremely deep. As you mentioned, we only got 1 junior. I've coached 2 teams in my 13 years here that had no seniors. So this is a little bit unusual, but it's not totally off the charts. We've had 2 teams with no seniors. The first year I took over, and then after my daughter Rebecca and Brooke graduated, Ryan Howard came in as a freshman, we had no seniors. So, you know, you think that wouldn't happen when you tell people, school size of Bradley, you got no seniors or 1 senior, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Is this thing's like an hourglass. As you get down to the bottom, you know, there's not many up here. Then they get middle school, they start thinning out, and then they get down to high school, and it's just like a funnel. It gets down to just a few left. And so I'm blessed to have the ones I got, and I'm ready to go to work with what I got.
Well, as a Bearette, you know, it's a challenge to be a Bearette. Everybody knows that. I mean, there's high expectations. You're going to be coached hard. You're going to have to practice hard. You got to keep your grades up, and you represent the B off the floor, off the campus even. And that's just part of the expectation being a Bearette there. And you mentioned Kimora. You've got, with Addie Guerin on your roster as a freshman, and Kimora and Avery, those three girls went through some pretty tough games at Lake Forest when they won the Tennessee Middle State Championship, back 2 years ago.
Certainly, yeah.
And so they're no stranger to success, and they're no stranger to being coached hard, and you expect that here at Bradley. But how'd your summer go? I saw you play several games over at Lee and all that. And
we didn't play enough good teams, and I went to the same places. I went to Middle Tennessee State, which is the best camp in the state of Tennessee. I went to different places like William Blunt and scrimmage Bearden, and we went to Coffee County, scrimmaged them, and I'm not, I just wish we'd have played maybe 2 or 3 more. We played about 20 games, they're practice games. And people get confused by that sometimes. They're like, there's so many things. You can't foul out in a scrimmage game.
Right.
But it gives you an indicator of what we got. And we had a good summer, but I've learned, if you go through summer and go 500, which we haven't, but if you go 500, you're probably going to be about 500. And so we didn't lose a summer game, but I don't know that is quite, I think we might have been a little further along, and we also may have just 2 or 3 games short of playing what I wanted. Okay. And just the way the cookie crumbled.
Yeah.
I mean, you show up in places like we do. We go to Middle Tennessee State. We're like, I want the best. Give me the best teams you got. We don't say water it down, and some people have to. Like, there's no reason for a smaller school that's mediocre to play a powerhouse that's good and get beat by 30. It does nobody any good. So anyhow, it is what it is.
Looking at your overall team, I think you have 20 players so in the whole program, counting JV. And
18. You got 18.
18. Where do you see your strength this year lie on the floor when you get the season cranked up and really going? Where do you think you can be stronger? But where would you like to be better at too, I guess?
Well, our strength is we're going to start 5 girls. If they don't get hurt, 2 is committed to Johnson. Harmony Ware will play college basketball at some level. Avery Brewer will play at some level, and Kimora Fields will play at some level. So we're starting 5 girls that will eventually play college basketball. Knock on wood. Not many people can say that.
Right.
Okay, they're going to play at some level on scholarship. I'm talking getting paid. I ain't talking about where you got to pay and go play.
Right.
So that's our strength. We can put 5 girls out there. A little bit of weakness. One of them's a freshman and 2 of them are sophomores. But I'll take it. I'll take the talent we got right there. I said we had 18 girls in the program. Erica Swicks in a boot. Erica could play college basketball at a certain level if she wants to. She's not sure what she wants to do yet. She may just want to go to school and just be a student and start towards her career. Mm-hmm. We got 1 injured. You got 2 more girls on this list in the whole program. There's 4 girls that don't dress varsity. We got 3 girls out right now. So we're practicing with 15, which is enough, but I guess the biggest weakness I see, besides a little bit of youth we're starting, is the fact that we're not as deep as I'd like to be, because it's almost like having an insurance policy. I can't see, if I saw a crystal ball and we stay healthy, we maybe just a little tweaked ankle or a bruised thigh or nothing real bad, somebody sick for 2 or 3 days, but if we have an injury that's long-term injury, which I hate to say it, it's 50-50. That it'll happen. Somebody, knock on wood. Siler Falcon. You didn't mention her. She didn't.
Oh, that's true.
She didn't play last year. I don't know why you didn't mention her, but there's a girl who didn't play her sophomore and senior year. So that's the thing that concerns me is our depth, and we're just 1 injury away from. Erica's out tonight, who would be starting, and that now you bring Avery into the starting lineup. Now I'm going to the bench. And Avery's my first guard in, okay? And that's no knock against anybody else, but now I've got a quality girl who is starting. So, but there's a lot of people that would trade teams with me, I can promise you that. So, the cover's not bare. It's just I like a little more ammunition, but we're going to find a way to survive and compete. And our girls are working really hard, and You know, you just can't keep them in a bubble, Gary. You know, you can get hurt in practice as well as a game. You can't be stupid, like you can't be doing things that are dangerous, but when you're cutting and pushing and jumping and coming down, you know, there's just a chance of injury. And tonight, I think we're going to be playing really, really hard, but also we're going to miss Erica because of the lack of depth. So we'll see.
Well, you know, you always want to have that cupboard stocked as full as you can and hope that it's there when you need that. Let's look at your schedule now. Obviously, the first game of the season is tonight as girls host Baylor, the boys host Silverdale Academy. Your schedule, anybody new on there? And talk about your in-season terms. I know you got one in particular that's going to really be a tough challenge for you over in South Carolina.
Well, we play Baylor tonight, which they've had a big transfer come in from Nashville. I don't think she played last year, but she's an all-stater as a sophomore in the private leagues. So we played them this summer. They didn't have half their team there. They had girls that were scattered out in volleyball and softball, and so that's no indicator. And it's going to be interesting to see how this girl, this transfer, how much she improves them. Then we play Warren County Saturday. Anybody interested coming up? We play at Coffee Middle School. Now, I understand it's a 4 or 5 year old school, so it's not like we're walking into some tiny school. It's a Warren County Middle School. We play at 12:30 Saturday, and then Coffee County Middle School. We play Warren County.
Right.
It's a Hall of Fame game. And then we got Knox Webb coming in here Tuesday. They're going to be good. Private school out of Knoxville. Shelley Collier, a friend of mine, she's going to have a good team. And then we have our Thanksgiving Classic. It's going to be called the Erie Insurance, as in Erie, Pennsylvania. They're sponsoring this classic this year, and we've got some really good teams coming in. Coffee County's coming in; they're top 10 in 4A basketball.
McMinn County.
McMinn's in it.
With Oliver Payton.
Oliver Payton. You got Greenville. We'll be playing Hamilton Heights. They're started program back again.
McMinn Central.
McMinn Central. Greenville is a solid, 2A powerhouse.
In York, I think.
And York, they've got a really, really, really special player in York that a lot of universities are looking at. And I think York lost in the AA finals last year with their best player coming back.
Good way to spend that Friday and Saturday. You don't want to go shopping. You had your big Thanksgiving meal Thursday.
Go shopping. We don't start until the first kickoff.
3 o'clock. Do that
Bradley
early.
versus Hamilton Heights. You got time to go Black Friday.
Yeah, early morning.
Run your debit cards up, credit cards, and then come in and watch some good girls basketball.
The schedule Friday, Bradley opening it with Hampton Heights at 3 o'clock. 4:30 be York Institute with the good players talking about against Coffee County. And McMinn County, and we know all about her and Oliver Payton and the McMinn girls under Coach Tucker. They'll take on Greenville at 6 o'clock. Then Saturday we'll start a little early at 1 o'clock. McMinn Central against York, Coffee County against McMinn, and then Bradley will host and take on the Greenville Lady Green Devils at 4 o'clock. So at 1 o'clock, 2:30 and 4 o'clock games on Saturday, 3 games starting at 3 o'clock on Friday. So come out and get your basketball Jones on and enjoy that. It'll be a lot of fun there. And you're talking about where you're going in Christmas break. You always have something picked out there that's a great thing there.
Well, we're going to Carolina Invitational. It's in Charleston, South Carolina. When they started this first year, it was about my second year taking over the Bearettes, second or third, I can't remember. They called me, and the guy said, we've started this tournament, and we would like to invite Bradley Central girls basketball. And I guess they're looking, what is it, 6.5 hour drive? They're looking, who can.
Something like that, yeah.
I've never been to Charleston. I've been to a lot of
city.
places, but somehow I've never been to Charleston. And so they called me about 10 years ago when they started this, and I just had already committed somewhere else. And so I've had them in the back of my mind. And since then, the thing has grown bigger and bigger. So there's 64 girls teams, but they put you in 8 different tournaments. So they've got you, they try to place you where they think you belong. And obviously, with our history and our team, they put us in the toughest bracket. So we could go there, Gary. That means you play 3 games. That'd be the 28th, 29th, and the 30th. Mm-hmm. And they use several gyms around the Charleston area. I think we're going to be at Somerville High School.
For all 3 games?
All 3 games. That's where the toughest bracket is at. I understand from the director of the tournament, Somerville High School lost in South Carolina, largest classification in the state finals. And they've got 4 of the top 5 players back.
And that's one of the teams in your bracket?
That's one of the teams in our bracket. We haven't seen the official bracket, but I know, talking to the director, they haven't released the official bracket. But he did a little homework after we talked. He called me back, said, yeah, we're going to put you in the toughest bracket. And I'm trying to pick a hotel in coordinates to where we're going to play. We're actually staying downtown Charleston, which is 25, 30-minute drive to where we're going to play. But I had to weigh it out. I thought there's a lot of history in Charleston, so we're going to let our kids see that. We try to reward our kids with a Christmas trip like that. You know, we've been to Phoenix to the Nike Tournament of Champions. We've been to Naples, Florida, to the Max Prep tournament, which is one of the top tournaments in the country.
Been to Greenville a few
we've been
times?
to Greenville 3 times, which is, you know, people may not get excited about going to Greenville, but you've been up there. You know, we've been lucky enough to. We're 11-1 at Greenville, so we had a special player and we won 2 of those, Ryan Howard. But so we try to go somewhere unique and different, but we're not going to go to amusement park necessarily. We're not going to go to Disney World. We're going to try to play basketball. But if we can get a little culture experience and let some of these girls see some things they've never seen before, then we try to do that. It costs a lot of money to do that. And thank goodness here at Bradley, I mean, it's not that we don't work for it. And the gate money helps pay for this, but we had to raise a lot of money, and we've got some great sponsors, and we've got people that care about Bradley Central basketball, and they've showed that through their financial giving, and that's why we can afford to do this. So, but anyhow, enough about that. We've got McMinn Central home and away, who they're hoping to compete for a AA state championship.
Is Massagill back?
Masagill's back.
Wow.
We got LFO. I know that doesn't. Lakeview, Fort Oglethorpe. They lost 2 games last year. One was to us.
So the other was in the state tournament.
They're coming here. So we got Knox Catholic home and away. They probably had the best small private school player in the state in Sydney Maines. They beat us once last year.
And she's just a junior, I guess, now.
She's a senior.
She's finally a senior?
Yeah.
Golly, but it seems like she's been playing forever.
So we're going to Rockville before Christmas. If you see on the 16th, we're playing at it's a showcase where they're inviting colleges in. It's just a 1 game. I had 1 game left. I got a hold of this guy at Rockville. Really, believe it or not, just a couple months ago. We went through all summer with 1 game dangling.
And that's the one you found.
So we're playing Huntsville Elite. You know, they were 27-6 last year. So I don't know anything about them yet. Right now, I'm worried about Baylor, and I don't know a whole lot about Baylor other than they'll be well coached, and there's no film out right now. So you just got to go by last year's film, and we played them the first game of the year. So how much
like
do
you
your
are
team
this year.
change between now and then? So anyhow.
Well, John Gibbs is a veteran coach there.
Yes.
He knows what to do to get the best out of his girls there. We're going to have I know it's way down the road, the district tournament this year will be held at Cleveland High School. One final question for you in our broadcast program here today. What's your thoughts or opinions on the upcoming region realignment for next year when we will be in a District 6 with Howard, Ooltewah, and East Hampton who's moving back up a class? And then it'll be Cleveland, McMinn, Ray, and Walker Valley in a separate District 5. I don't like it at all myself, but I don't have to say so.
I'm not a fan of the 4 classes, but I know a lot of, evidently, majority of the state is. A majority could be 51%. But I thought 3 was enough because we have 2 in the private. So you got 5 state champions. Now you got 6. It's just, to me, when you have a 4-team district, you might as well just play regions. I don't know. You're having a 4-team district, and then you go to the tournament. You know, people don't like change. You know that. As we get older, especially, we don't like change. Go in and ask some elderly person, I'm going to change your phone company or your cable company. They don't want change.
No.
So change is inevitable, but I don't know that what you have here, think about it, Gary, you're a smaller single A. Well, you want the larger quarter of the single A to go to double A. You're a smaller double A. You want the largest quarter of your double A to go to triple A. Now you're one of those smaller, in the O format, you're a smaller triple A. You want to get away from the larger triple A schools. So now what you've done, you got all these schools wanting to jockey around, and you're creating all these small districts. That's okay. If we're going to have 4 classes, I think they should just have regions and not districts. Now, you say, why won't they do that? Simple fix. Just have a region. We'd have 8 teams in our region. Then you don't have the district tournament, and now we're getting into money.
Yep.
Money for,
bottom line.
Money for the state organization. So I just, you know, everybody feels like they have an opinion, but that's my opinion. If we're going to go 4 classes, do away with districts and just have regions. But we'll see. I don't know. They say that it's what the members want. I question why, and they said this is what the members want. Well, I don't know that the TSSAA always does what the members want. They have a board of control, and they have people in place to do what's best for the overall body. So, you know what? I'm going to worry about this year and not to worry too much about the future. I've learned that if you can't control it, then you might as well not worry about it.
Right. And the bottom line is that you're going to open tonight's season at home right here in Jim Smith Arena against the Baylor Lady Raiders, with Coach John Gibson, and we'll see this year's version of the 22-23 Bearettes open their season. Following that tonight will be the Bears as they open their season against Silverdale Academy, the Seahawks out of Chattanooga. Coach Zach Carpenter in his 2nd year. And you can watch these games on the Bear Network, BCHS.TV. Go to YouTube, just simply search for BCHS.TV or the Bear Network if you don't already have that called up. And when you get there, hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge totally, and you can be notified anytime one of our shows like this or any of our games are recorded and put out there for your viewing pleasure. So keep that in mind. Tonight I'll be doing play-by-play for the Bear Network on that BCHS.TV, so you can listen in, watch the game live. Both games, a doubleheader, begin at 6 o'clock tonight. Encourage everybody to come out and watch the Bearettes and see what you think. And Coach, we'll do this. We'll skip next week because it's a fall break. We won't have him back at school. Thanksgiving break.
Yep.
We'll take, it's Thanksgiving break. We'll take the week off, start back our shows the following week, and so we'll have a few games under our belt to talk about then. And again, look at the upcoming schedule for the next few days there on the Bear Network as we move forward there. Until next time, thank you for joining us again, Coach, as always. I always appreciate your insight and your thoughts and things about what's going on with your team and our program. Until next time, we'll say so long for now. God bless and go Bearettes.